We'll start the class with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today we are going to have a revision class of the Upanishads which we have completed already. So when we started, we said we will do 10 Upanishads. And many of you are still continuing the sessions. I'm very happy about it. And what I want to give you is just a bird's eye view of the classes which we have finished. And I will see the feedback from you and then decide whether we should have a session on the pending Upanishads, which we will be covering, whether you want to have a bird's eye view of that also. But my schedule today to first finish the 5 Upanishads which we have covered. The reason why I decided to have this session is the Upanishads have a different style of presentation in each Upanishad. A student who is starting on the study of Upanishad get a doubt. Are all these Upanishads talking of the same topic? There is a very wonderful sutra in Brahma Sutra, the first chapter, first section, first adhikaranam, the fourth sutra in Brahma Sutra, which says Tattu Samanvaya. What is the central teaching of the Upanishads? Is the Upanishad talking about Nitya Vastu or Anitya Vastu? Is the Upanishad talking about Dvaitam or Advaitam? Is the Upanishad talking about the Jiva, Jagat, or Ishvara, or something different than these three, which is called as Brahman? Is Brahman, Atma, Turiyam are all the same or all they different? So a student might get a lot of doubts because each Upanishad has got a different style of presentation, which is called as Prakaranam. The methodology adopted in the Upanishads is different in different Upanishads. Some Upanishads, they have a common methodology, but but most of them have got different methods. So with this short introduction, let me just go to the Upanishads summary. So for those who are coming to the class earlier, we are playing the Nirvana Shatkam chanted by Vijaya at the beginning of the class. I have presented this chart at the beginning of the Upanishad sessions. Right in the first session, I have presented this chart. So, quick recap of what these Upanishads are will be easy if we go through this chart. Kaivalya Upanishad was the first Upanishad we took up. And that is from Atharvana Veda. There are 4 Vedas. The 4 Vedas are divided into 4 parts. Atharvana Veda, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda. So we have different Upanishads from different Vedas so that you can understand how all the Upanishads, they have only one topic, and that topic is Brahman. This Kaivalya Upanishad was a small Upanishad of 25 mantras, and it has only one chapter. The Shanti mantra for this is Bhadram Karnevi Shrunayama Devaha. It is the same Shanti mantra for Mandukya Upanishad also. And also for Prasthana Upanishad. Then we have the Acharya in Kaivalya Upanishad. It is Chaturmukha Brahma. And the student's name is Ashvalaya Rishihi. So like this, if you go through this chart, you will get all the details of the Shanti mantra, the number of shlokas, which Veda it is, then which is the Mahavakyam, and which are the important mantras. So Mandukya is also from Atharvana Veda, Mundak is also Atharvana Veda, Prashno is also Atharvana Veda. Now, in these Upanishads, Mandukya we are already covering on Sundays. Most of you are familiar with it. Basically, it has got 12 mantras and 215 karikas. It is one of the most important Upanishads among the Upanishads which we study. And primarily, it studies three avasthas. Kaivalya Upanishad also studies the three avasthas to arrive at the central teaching of the Upanishad, which is Brahman. In Mandukya Upanishad, Brahman is called as Turiyam. The third Upanishad is Muṇḍaka Upanishad, consisting of 65 mantras, 3 sections. Angiras is the teacher, Shaunaka is the student. Very beautiful Upanishad. And there are 2 mantras which I put as important mantras. You can refer to them. Prasthana Upanishad is from Atharvana Veda, 67 mantras, 6 chapters. And Pippalada is the teacher. And then there are 6 disciples. Kaṭha Upanishad, Krishna Yajurveda, 119 verses. Yamadharma Raja is the teacher. Nachiketa is the student. Taittiriya Upanishad is also from Yajurveda. 52 mantras are there. 3 sections, 3 chapters are there. Sikshavalli, Brahmanandavalli, Bhriguvalli. And then it primarily focuses on Panchakoshas. The next Upanishad is Isha Upanishad. It is called as Mantro Upanishad. It is coming from the Samhita portion of the Veda. It comes from Shukla Yajurveda. In Yajurveda, there are 2 khandas, there are 2 schools. One is Krishna Yajurveda and Shukla Yajurveda. In this Ishavasya Upanishad, Purnamada Purnamidam, that is what we chant at the end of the class. Every class we chant this. This is the Shanti mantra of Ishavasya Upanishad. Then a very bulky Upanishad, Vedantic Upanishad, containing 434 shlokas, divided into 6 chapters. And it is also from Shukla Yajurveda, like Ishavasya Upanishad. Now, Ishavasya Upanishad is elaborated in Vedantic Upanishad. The most important Mahavakyam, Aham Brahma Asmi, comes in Brahmanaka Upanishad. Yajnavalkya is the teacher, and then he debates with a lot of disciples. He debates with a lot of Purva Pakshas in Vedanta Upanishad. Chāndogya Upanishad is the biggest Upanishad, giant Upanishad, 627 mantras, divided into 8 chapters. The first 5 chapters are Upasana portion. The last 3 chapters are the Vedanta portion. Then we have, in Chāndogya, we have Tathomasi as the Mahavakyam. Very, very famous Mahavakyam. One of the most famous Mahavakyams is Tathomasi. Uddalaka is the teacher. Shvetaketu is the student. In the 6th chapter, then in the 7th chapter of Chāndogya, Sanat Kumara is the teacher, Narada is the student. In the 8th chapter of Chāndogya Upanishad, Prajapati is the teacher, Indra is the student. The unique feature of Chāndogya Upanishad is 9 times Tathomasi is being repeated. You are that, you are that, you are that. Again and again, the teacher tells the students Svetaketu. Like in Kaṭha Upanishad, Yamadharma Raja says 12 times to Nachiketa, Etad Vaitad, Etad Vaitad. This is what you wanted to know, Nachiketa. This is what you wanted to know. This Brahman, this Turiya, this Atma is what you wanted to know. Then Keno Upanishad is from Samaveda. Chāndogya is also from Samaveda. And Keno Upanishad, we have already finished. It is covered in 4 chapters. 35 mantras are there. Aitareya Upanishad is from Rig Veda. So from Rig Veda we don't have many Upanishads from Rig Veda. This is the only Upanishad which we have from Rig Veda, Aitareya Upanishad. 33 mantras broken up into 3 chapters, and the most famous portion of this Upanishad is Prajnanam Brahma. This is the Mahavakyam in the Aitareya Upanishad. Prajnanam Brahma means consciousness is Brahman. Consciousness is our nature. Existence is the nature of the world. Consciousness is the nature of Ishvara. So there is only one reality behind everything in the universe. Shvetashvatara Upanishad is the next Upanishad from Krishna Yajurveda with 113 mantras. And it is the teacher there is sage Shvetashvatara. Now, this is the synopsis of 12 mantras and the total 12 Upanishads with 1,815 mantras. Now, as a student, when I enter into the spiritual study, the Guru tells me you have to study Prasthana Traya. Prasthana Traya means it consists of 3 things. One is it consists of Bhagavad Gita, which is the first text which we all study. I'm sure all of you know what this Prasthana Traya is. This Prasthana Traya is the basic literature for all of us. And when we study this, Bhagavad Gita, it has got 701 verses. Upanishad is a next level of study with 1,800 verses. And then comes the last portion, Brahma Sutra, which is 550 verses. So our total study is this entire chart which I have given before you, which is almost like 3,000 verses, which we have to understand what Brahman is, what Atma is, and what is Turiyam. All these three mean the same thing. Next, I will give you a summary, a little bit more details of what each of this Upanishad which we discussed. Whatever we have discussed, there are 5 Upanishads which we have finished. We are doing also Mundaka Upanishad, which is the 6th Upanishad on Sundays. Most of you are attending that also. So we started with Kaivalya Upanishad, then we did Mundaka Upanishad, Keno Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, and Kaṭha Upanishad. Kaivalya Upanishad consists of 24 mantras. The most important mantra in this Upanishad is Mayeva Sakalam Jatam, Mayi Sarvam Pratishtitam, Mayi Sarvam Layam Yati. That Brahma, that Brahman I should know. That Brahman is my Swarupa. That is the central message in Kaivalya Upanishad. One mantra you should remember in this Kaivalya Upanishad, and it basically the first portion is the introduction portion, and where the Upanishad talks about the prayer to chant before we start the study. The Shanti mantra has got 2 portions. Vijnanani vritti and Karana Yogyata Praptihi. These are the 2 things which are mentioned in the prayer. Now, the first one is, you see, whenever we study Upanishads, there could be obstacles. 3 types of obstacles are mentioned in this Shanti mantra. Adi Daivika, Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika. Adi Daivika means then the forces which are responsible for the maintenance of the world, which is basically the force of gravitation, the force by which the planets move. All that is Adi Devika. Adhyatmika means the forces which control the functioning of my body and mind. Adi Bhautika means the forces surrounding myself, the environment which surrounds me. My neighbors, for example. Suppose he makes too much noise when the class is going on, I will not be able to listen to the class. So there are different types of obstacles. The Veda says these are the 3 main obstacles which we pray for, and we pray to Lord Ganesha to remove these obstacles. Then the prayer asks for Karana Yogyata. Karana Yogyata means the ability of the sense organs, the fitness of the sense organs, the fitness of the mind, the intellect equipment. Bhadram karne vishruniyama devaha. So the Shanti mantra says, let my ears function well so that I can listen to the Upanishads. Let me see properly so that I can read the Upanishad mantras. Let me have arjavam. Let me have the oneness between the synchronization of my speech, the thought, and my body. Let they all be in synchronization so that I can remain focused in what I'm studying. So Kaivalya Upanishad starts with the first verse where Ashvalayana, who is the student, he asks the teacher for Brahma Vidya. I want to know my real nature. Am I this body? Am I this mind? Who am I? And so the student is very, very clear. And he knows that this jnanam, this knowledge can come from the Veda. He says, I want moksha. Moksha means I want freedom from sorrow. I want to attain happiness. That is what the student wants. And he knows that I can get this only from Atma Jnanam. Atma Jnanam means the self knowledge. Knowledge about my real nature. That is Ashwalana's question to his teacher. Then what happens? The teacher then says, I will teach you this knowledge. Jnana sadhanam. What is the sadhanam means what? What is the means of getting this knowledge? Shraddha, bhakti, dhyanam. Here, Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyanam are technical words which have a special meaning in this Upanishad. Normally, Shraddha means faith. Here, Shraddha means Shravanam, listening to the scriptures. That is what we are doing now. Then the second means for this Atma Jnanam or the self-knowledge is Bhakti. Bhakti also here, normal meaning of bhakti is devotion to God. To God you may believe it. You have a devotion for him. But here bhakti has got a separate meaning. It is mananam. That means reflection of what I have heard in the scriptures, in my own mind. And the third instrument or the third means of this knowledge is dhyanam. Dhyanam means generally meditation. And here the special meaning is nididhyasana. What is the difference between dhyanam and nididhyasanam? Dhyanam means you have Ishvara, God, as a object of meditation. In nididhyasanam, God is not the object of meditation. You are the object of meditation and you are trying to remove all the impurities from your mind. That is what is called as nididhyasana. Then there is other secondary means. He says tyagaha. Tyagaha means renunciation, mental renunciation. So this is the beginning. In verse 2 to 4 in Kaivalya Upanishad, the teacher mentions Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam are the means. It is the vehicle which will take you to the destination of Atma, which will take you to the destination of Brahman. It will take you to the destination of Turiyam. Then from verse 5 to 10, totally there are 24 verses. Now we have got up to the 4th verse. From 5th verse to the 10th verse, the Upanishad teaches the technique of meditation. Like in the Bhagavad Gita, we have the 6th chapter as the chapter for meditation. You want to meditate on 2 things as possible. 1, you meditate on God. Number 2, you meditate on Brahman or Atma, the Swarupa. Now, what are the basic starting points, the sadhanam, the instrument? You have to pick up the right place for meditation. Deshaha. You cannot meditate in the middle of a market and say, I'm going to stand in the market and start thinking of God or thinking about myself. So you should have a secluded place, a quiet place, a tranquil place for meditation. Number one. Number two is kala. Don't say, I will meditate at 12 o'clock midnight or get up at 2 o'clock and meditate. No, you should have, preferably the time given for meditation is between 4 to 6 a.m. This is not a hard and fast rule. If you have a chance, you can meditate in the evening during the dusk. Either during dawn or during dusk, you pray, you meditate. These timings are useful, they are conducive for meditation. Kalaha. First we discussed desha, secluded place, the right time. Not when you are rushing to the office. 8 o'clock you want to sit for meditation. At 8:20 you want to rush to the office. Bus is coming, taxi is waiting. No, don't try like that. When you are relaxed, when you feel, yes, I'm very comfortable with my mind, at that time you do meditation. Right asana, that is the next third instruction for meditation. Don't sit in a rocking chair and say, I will rock the chair and I will meditate. It's not possible because the mind has to be steady. In order for the mind to be steady, the asana, the posture of meditation should be firm. You should not be shaking your body while meditating because you're trying to understand your own core personality. The core personality for all of us is called as Atma, the self. All of us can realize this self because it happens to be our nature. It is not difficult. It is not rocket science. It is not something very, very so difficult. I have to really do so many things to understand myself. No, just to go through in a proper, simple way as taught to you by the Guru, and you will attain your self knowledge very easily. There are two ways in which meditation is possible. One is called as saguna dhyanam, and the next is called as nirguna dhyanam. Saguna dhyanam means Ishvara dhyanam. You take a picture of the God who you believe, who exists, and you meditate on that God, the form of the God, the features of the God, the functions of that God. Then you can meditate. This is called as saguna dhyanam, God with attributes. Now, this will not give you moksha. This will not give you freedom from sorrow, but it will give you jnana yogyata praptihi. You can meditate on one God, you can meditate on many gods, but it will give you only chitta shuddhi. It will make your mind focused, concentrated, uniform, so that when you bring the thought of Atma, that thought of Atma clicks with you. That is Saguna Dhyana. The other meditation which is possible is Nirguna Arupa Dhyana. Nirguna. There is no gunas, there is no features, there is no attributes in this meditation. You are meditating on formless God. In the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, it is very, very difficult for seekers to meditate on this. But it can still be done. If you have gone through the Upanishadic study, this becomes very easy. Because Upanishad tells you how you should meditate on that formless God. There are certain tips, there are certain ways in which you can meditate on the formless God or formless nature of the reality. This will give you jnana nishtha. See, saguna dhyanam, Lord with forms, attributes will give you purity of mind. Nirguna rupa dhyanam will give you jnana nishtha. Nishtha means what? Firmness in the knowledge. I have come to realize Atma is attributeless. Atma is changeless. So if I want to hold on to that knowledge as my intrinsic nature, I must know how to do this nirguna rupa dhyana. That is from verse number 5 to 10. Now, there are other ways for chitta shuddhi, purity of mind. Suppose you do Vishnu Sahasranamam or Shiva Pada Puja or any other worship you can undertake. All this will give you only chitta shuddhi. There are many ways for chitta shuddhi, which means purity of mind, going to a temple, going to a church. That is all will give you chitta shuddhi, the purity of mind. It will not give you moksha. Moksha is only possible from the knowledge of the Upanishad. The next section is verse number 12 to 15, which is the basic inquiry of a seeker. How should I know myself? The seeker asks, can I look at this entire waking state and then come to a conclusion? In the waking state, I see my body. I see this. I am aware of my mind. Can I know this God or this self or Atma or Brahman or Turiyam only by Jagrata Avastha? The Upanishad says no. The Upanishad says you must compare and contrast three states of your experiences: waking state, dream state, and the sleep state. Now, this is beautifully expanded in Mundaka Upanishad. Same methodology. It is in a nutshell in Kaivalya Upanishad. But if you want to really study how I should conduct this inquiry within myself, not outside, the entire journey of Vedanta is trying to understand my own nature within myself. When I look within, it is called as micro jivat, the microcosm. When I look outside in the universe, it is called as macrocosm, Paramatma. These are technical terms. So look at the individual self, look at the cosmic self. In all the three avasthas, the individual self in the waking state is given a name, Vishwa. And the cosmic self corresponding to the waker is Virat. This is one level of experience, which is a gross world of experience, where I experience with my physical body, the sense organs, and the gross world made up of gross panchabhutas, the five elements. Then the second level is the dream state. The dreamer is given a name, Taijasa. And his world, which consists of the mental impressions which are projected by his own mind, that is called as Hiranyagarbha. The world, the controller of the world in the dream state is the Devata called as Hiranyagarbha Devata. It is a force. It is a cosmic force, you can say. It is the Devata which controls the dream world. Who controls the waking world? Waking world is a projection of Virat Devata. Virat. Then comes the sleep state. When we don't experience anything, but there is a lot of spiritual knowledge which is hidden in the sleep state. When you analyze the sleep state, this Sushupti Avastha, then the individual identified with his sleep state is called as prajna. See, the Upanishad has to understand all the three levels: the gross level, the subtle level, the causal level. At the causal level, the totality is called as Ishvara or Antaryami. So when I analyze these six factors, Vishwa, Virat, Taijasa, Hiranyagarbha, Prajna, Antaryami or Ishvara, these six terms, when I understand correctly, then the Upanishad says all these six is nothing but it is anatma. It is mithya. It is an appearance. It is adhyasa. But what is the reality? The reality is the adhishtanam, pure Brahman, pure consciousness, pure existence, in which there is no world, in which there is no jiva jagat ishvara. That is how Kaivalya Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, they all describe to me my own nature. I dissect the micro individual. I dissect the macro cosmos. Arrive at the subjective level of both individual and the total. And when I arrive at the subjective substratum, that is what is called as Turiyam or Brahman. I have to know that that is my real nature. What about this body which I see? The body of so many people I see around. 3 billion people are there in this world. Maybe 6, I don't know. It is. So many people are around. All these are nothing but upadhi. Atma is there in each one of them, which is uniform, which is tranquil, which is peaceful, which is consciousness, which is pure existence, which is bliss. Like space is there in all the rooms in my house, and space is outside the house also. Similarly, consciousness is there in this body. Therefore, I can know my thoughts. Who knows the thoughts? Who knows the emotions in your body? I am happy today. I am very, very sad today. Who knows this? Atma. So this is the wonderful inquiry which happens, which is very similar to Mandukya Upanishad, but in 4 verses 12, 13, 14, 15, the entire Mandukya Upanishad inquiry is in a nutshell form. Then from 16th verse to the 23rd verse, Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam. There is oneness between the individual and the total. This is a central theme of all the Upanishads. All the 5 Upanishads are talking about the oneness between the body and the universe. There is something which I don't know. But if I study the Upanishad, I will realize this oneness. This is the guarantee of the Upanishads. the scriptures. Come, come to learn the Upanishads, come to learn the Bhagavad Gita, come to Brahma Sutra. I will teach you what is this oneness and what is the benefit of this oneness. If I study this, what will I get? I will get total elimination of all my sorrow and total accomplishment of all happiness in this universe. All. Really, is it possible? Yes, yes. Upanishad says, come, come. I will teach you how. So there is a Mahavakyam, that the 20th verse of this Upanishad has got the Mahavakyam. It says, Mayeva Sakalam Jatam. That means I am the Atma from which this entire universe comes, into which the entire universe is sustained, and also into which the whole universe is resolved. By Bhaga Tyaga Lakshana, that means I learn to understand in my own intellect to drop the world of waking, dream, and sleep and hold on to the substratum on which these three are standing. The substratum is always there. It is Nitya. It is Nitya Vastu. So I hold on to the Atma and then see the world appearing in Atma. That is from 16 to 23. The 24th verse is the Upasamhara, the conclusion. The conclusion is what? I am that Sakshi, I am that Paramatma Swarupa, which is consciousness, which is pure existence, and knowing which, holding on to which, abiding in which I can remain throughout my life. That is the beauty of this Kaivalya Upanishad. In short, 24 mantras, it explains the whole concept of spirituality. The entire science of spirituality is there in one Kaivalya Upanishad, which we have just now seen. So the Adhyaropa means, generally the Upanishad uses the technique called as Adhyaropa, which means superimposition. Now, Adhyaropa is what? The three avasthas. Here, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, these are the three superimpositions on the pure Sakshi. So, initially, as a junior student, I start making this Adhyaropa. I superimpose on this Sakshi all the experiences of mine. Then what do? I negate the world of experience. There are two things whenever I'm experiencing. I am there, I the Sakshi, I the Atma, I the Brahman am there, plus the world is there. World consists of Panchabhutas. It consists of all permutation combinations of Panchabhutas only, 5 elements. In Trigunatmika form, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. All this is called as Anatma. But I, the consciousness, am the substratum for this entire experiential life. This is how Kaivalya Upanishad teaches us Brahma Vidya. I have taken many sessions of Upanishads, but I always start with Kaivalya Upanishad because for a seeker, this is the first Upanishad he should try to master. Very simple, very methodical. It teaches us the means of attaining the knowledge, the benefit of attaining the knowledge, and what exactly we should do when we have to get this knowledge in our own, as our own nature. Okay, so these are the details of Kaivalya Upanishad, which are mentioned here. I will quickly go through them. In verse number 15, Paramatma Swarupam is defined, is discussed. 15 and 16 is Paramatma Swarup. 17th verse is Jivatma Swarupam. 18th verse is introduction of Sakshi, the Atma, the Avastha Traya Sakshi. And the 19th verse talks about the oneness between Jivatma and Paramatma. Whenever we say Paramatma, we always do Adhyaropa. Adhyaropa means what? Superimposition. So we superimpose on one name. We say Paramatma, we say Ishvara, we say the Lord. Or you can name it in different forms. You can say any name. Now that Paramatma means what? Supreme Atma. Why is it called Supreme? Because it is the Jagat Karana. It is the cause of this entire Vyashti and Samashti. So he must be so powerful. I am a little cause for my children. But Paramatma is the cause of the entire Jagat. He is the one who created the entire Panchabhutas. So he has the Maya Shakti in him. Now, the cause is called as Paramatma, but the effect is called as Jagat. Jagat means world. World is Karyam. The cause is invisible, which I can't see. So Jagat Karanam means what? He is the creator, sustainer, supporter. Always he will be there because I see the world is always there. Therefore, God is also there always. Before, during, and after the world is gone, God, the creator, sustainer, is always there. Now, that is what is Paramatma. He appears in the form of Vyashti and Samashti. Vyashti means individual. One God, one consciousness appears as the individual and the total. Like water, it appears as the wave and it also appears as the ocean. Like a face, one face, if you look at the concave mirror, you get one type of reflection. You look at one face in a convex mirror, you get another type of appearance. So the appearances are many, but the reality behind them is one. The reality behind this entire cosmos is Paramatma. This is the way, this is the vision of the Veda. If I want to understand God, if I want to understand me, myself, I should get to this vision of the Upanishad. So 15th verse of this Upanishad, Kaivalya Upanishad, very important, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 4 verses. Try to understand them. Then you will understand the last verse when it says it is one. 17th verse talks about the Jiva. I told you Vishwa, Taijasa, Prajna. 3 reflected consciousness. Why do I call it reflected consciousness? Because it is not the original. Original is invisible, which is what I am in my sleep state. Pure consciousness, pure nature, without the world, without the body, without the mind, without anything. That is my pure nature. But this nature of body, mind, world, all these gross things, how it is Maya, it is Maya Shakti. It is the Shakti of that pure consciousness which projects this entire world, and then it takes back the entire world into itself. By knowing this consciousness, which is called as Brahman, I get released from my identifying myself as the body or the mind. This is the most important aspect of the study of Upanishad. Whenever we study the Upanishad, we should understand it should benefit me finally. I should get a different vision about myself. I'm not the waker, I'm not the dreamer, I'm not the sleeper. I am the pure consciousness, which is called as Turiyam. Now, what is this Turiyam or Sakshi, the witness? It is the Avastha Traya Vilakshanam. 18th verse talks about Sakshi. It talks about the oneness. All the experiences in the world are divided into Bhokta, Bhogyam, and Bhogaha. Bhokta means the experiencer. Bhogyam means experienced objects. And Bhogaha means the experiencing action. All these three put together is called as Anubhava, experience. But beyond this experience, which is Anatma, there is a Sakshi, there is a witness of that experience. That witness is the spiritual content. It is the pure spirit without the world. Why is it required? That is the nature of the world. That is my nature also. Upanishad says, your nature is you are a pure Atma. What about this body, mind, and the world? They are temporary objects. But what about the Atma? It is permanent status of mind without the body, without the objects. Chin matram. It is without any emotions, thoughts, delusions. Sadashiva. It is one, auspicious. It is behind the entire creation. That is why it is called as auspicious. Very beautiful word, Sada Shivaha. Paramatma. Then, so 15th is Paramatma. 15 and 16. 17th is Jivatma. 18th talks about the features of Sakshi. Then in the 19th verse, it says, this Sakshi is the oneness. It is the one behind both the Jiva and Paramatma. And the Mahavakya of the Upanishad, Mayeva Sakalam Jatam, Mayi Sarvam, it comes in the 19th verse of this Upanishad. All the waves, they rise from the ocean. The ocean, the totality is called as ocean. But the content of the ocean and the wave is water. The content of the individual and the total is consciousness. It is existence. By dropping my ego, ahamkara, I come to realize I am the substratum on which the two veshams, two dresses are false attributes are worn by me, the consciousness. This is the vision of the Upanishad. From the 20th verse to the 24th verse, it talks about how to realize this oneness by inquiring and meditate. What is the inquiry to be conducted? Where is this Karanam? Where is this Paramatma? Where is he located? Where is all this Karyam, the product? Where is it all located? Whole galaxy. Where is it? It is all in one Atma Swarupam, Shiva Rupam, Hiranyam. It is a one self-effulgent consciousness principle. That consciousness principle is auspicious. That consciousness principle appears as sopadikam, nirupadikam. Sopadikam means what? It comes with upadi. Upadi means the body, mind, and the universe. Gross objects. Same one consciousness, one Brahman, one Atma, one pure Turiyam appears as Sopadikam and Nirupadikam. Nirupadikam, when do I experience this Nirupadikam? In my sleep state. That also is me only, right? Waking is also me. Dream is also me. Sleep is also me. So in the sleep state, what happens? I drop all the upadis. I drop all my dresses, my coverings. Body is an upadi. That is why it says apani padaha achakshusho ashrotram apramata apani padaha. That consciousness, pure consciousness is bodiless, mindless, sense organs less. It is not a knower at that state. But what is it? It is pure chit, pure self. Now, this is how the inquiry is done about the universe and about myself. The first portion is adhyaropa. Adhyaropa means you say this is the world is superimposed on Atma. Then in the 22nd verse, the Upanishad does the second step, which is called as apavada. Apavada means negation. What does this 22nd verse says? It says it is beyond the Triputi. Triputi means the knower, knowledge, and known. It is not the Paramatma, it is not the Pramanam, it is not the Prameyam. That means it is beyond something. It is beyond this experienced world and the experiences. In this, there is no punyam, there is no papam, there is no karanam, there is no karyam. That is what the Upanishad says you have to go towards if you want to know your art. All this is done mentally. Intellectually, you have to negate. And in the 23rd verse, which is again a very beautiful verse, na bhumirapo na vannirasti. There is no earth, there is no space, there is no panchabhutas. That Sakshi is Nishkalam, without any parts. It is Advitiya. It is non-dual by nature. And what is its real nature? It is real nature. It is the witness of the mind. That is why we say it is Sakshi principle. It knows all your thoughts. It knows all your passions, your emotions. That knower can exist without the mind and the body. That is why it is called as Karya Karana Vilakshana Turiya. Karya Karana Vilakshanam in the Mandukya language is the 7th mantra. Karanam is the 6th and the 5th mantra. The 3rd and the 4th is Karyam. Waking state, dream state is Karyam. Sleep state is Karana. Beyond the waking, dream, and sleep state is this Turiyam. It is this Atma. And that Atma is pure. It is without any punyam. There is no punyam. Papam is gone at the sleep state itself. That pure Atma is self-evident and self-shining. Do I have to take, how do I know this Atma? Upanishad says you know Atma by claiming Atma. And then at last it says, if you have not understood this nature of yours by doing this 24th verse up to 24, it says, do Parayanam of this Upanishad for Chitta Shuddhi. Again and again, chant this Upanishad many times. The more you chant this 24 mantras, Upanishad says, you will get purity of mind. And again, after say 6 months, you listen to the same 24 mantras, you will understand the Atma much more clearly than when you said, I didn't understand the Atma. So it's a complete Upanishad. It is very beautiful Upanishad. And for all the seekers, the first Upanishad to start with is Kaivalya Upanishad. Okay, so that was the first Upanishad. The second Upanishad, which we have already done, is Mundaka Upanishad. Mundaka Upanishad contains 64 verses. 3 chapters, 22 verses, 21 verses, 21 verses. Each chapter has got 2 sections. 2 sections in the first chapter, 2 sections in the second chapter, 2 sections in the third chapter. What is the content of the first section of the first chapter? Saunaka is the student. He goes to his teacher, Angiras, and then he asks him, what is the definition of Brahman? Upanishad describes the ultimate reality as Brahman. What is the definition of Brahman? Tell me one thing by which I can know the entire universe. See the beautiful question of Saunaka. He says, oh teacher, teach me one thing by which I can know the entire universe. Then the teacher says, yes, I will teach you Brahman. If I teach you Brahman, then you will know the whole universe, because the whole universe is resting on Brahman. And this Brahman, he goes to expand and says, in the second section, he says, in the first section, he only says the whole that Brahman appears as para and apara. Para means supreme. Apara means inferior. Superior, inferior, cosmos. Then in the second section, he describes the details of the Paravidya. And he says Paravidya and Aparavidya, I will explain to you. Aparavidya, he takes it for explanation in the beginning. Aparavidya is Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga. Purity of what do I get by doing Karma Yoga? By Karma Yoga, according to Bhagavad Gita, consists of doing all the actions as if it is the Lord who is instructing me to do the action as a part of my duty in the world. That is one part of Karma Yoga, as taught in the Bhagavad Gita. What is the second part of the Karma Yoga? Whenever any result of action comes, I take it as prasada. I take it as Ishvara prasada. This bhavana, this attitude towards action is called as Karma Yoga. Then Upasana Yoga is meditation. By following Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga, I will get Chitta Shuddhi, purity of mind. Then in the second chapter, the teacher, he describes the definition of Paravidya. And he gives example of a spark and a spark of a fire. Seems like the sparks are nothing but born out of a small dot of fire, of a flame. Similarly, from that one dot of consciousness, this entire Jagat is coming. the mountains, the rivers, everything is born out of that spark of life. That spark of life is called as Paravidya, the knowledge of the Supreme. In the second section, the nature of Brahman, the nature of this Paravidya is taken up and Omkara meditation is taught. And he says that all the doubts which you have, which is basically avidya, kama, karma, the doubt, the three knots which keeps us glued to this body and the mind, it is the knot of avidya, which means ignorance. Then it is the knot of kama, desire, and karma. Because of ignorance about this paravidya, about this Brahman, about this Turiyam Brahma, I have desires for the world. Because I have desires, I go into action. This is the cycle of birth and death. So my attachment to the body is for doing actions and for getting the result of actions. But why I do actions is mentioned in this beautiful section, second section. The third chapter talks about the cause of bondage, and he says there are two birds who are sitting in this body. Like there are two birds in a tree. Mundaka Upanishad is very famous for this. It says there are two birds. One is in the higher branch looking down at the lower branch. At the lower branch is another bird. The lower bird is only interested in eating and sleeping. It wants to enjoy. It takes the fruits, it munches the fruits and then keeps on, again comes back in the morning again. This is the lower bird. The higher bird is sitting all the time only witnessing. What the Upanishad says is, even in this body, there are two birds. One is the Sakshi bird, which is always a witness, never gets involved in the actions. The second bird is the Jiva bird. Jiva bird is always engaged in action in the world. How to distinguish this? It says try to get the values in your mind. It gives you a list of values, virtues which are required for understanding the Sakshi bird. Once you understand the Sakshi bird in the second section of the third chapter, that is what is called as liberation, moksha. This is a bird's eye view of the Mundaka Upanishad consisting of 64 verses. Very, very beautiful Upanishad. If you study them, again, the objective is what? To know my Swarupam. My Swarupam is Atma. My Swarupam is consciousness. It is pure existence, pure consciousness, pure happiness. Okay, so that is how this is constructed. Now the details are given in these three slides, I think. I will quickly run through them so that you get a full picture of it. I have gone very much in detail with my summary. I was thinking I will finish it all the 5 today, but it looks that I may not be able to finish the 5 Upanishads. But nevertheless, I think you may have got the full picture by going it and doing it in this way. So this 22 verses of this chapter, the two sections are the first chapter. 9 verses in the first section and 13 in the second section. Atharvana Veda, don't forget, this belongs to Atharvana Veda, like Chāndogya Veda, like Chāndogya Upanishad. Muṇḍaka Upanishad also from Atharvana Veda. Kaivalya is also Atharvana Veda. Guru, as I said, is Angiras, student is Saunaka. The question comes in the third verse of the first chapter, first section. What is that by knowing which everything becomes as good as known? The answer is know that it is a field of knowledge in which the whole world appears. The experiencer of the field of knowledge is a sentient principle. It is the consciousness principle. It is called as Paravidya. And the field Kshetram is called as Paravidya. In Bhagavad Gita, also in the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, we talk about Paravidya, Aparavidya. Same, it has been taken up from here only. So Paravidya is the knowledge dealing with Aksharam Brahma. Aksharam means changeless. Very beautiful word. In Muṇḍaka Upanishad, if you want to learn what is it which I have learnt in Muṇḍaka Upanishad, you should say, I have learnt about one thing which is Aksharam. Sharam means perishing. Aksharam means non-perishing. Non-perishing is one, which is called as Brahman. Perishing is called as the world, Anatma. It is a lower nature, lower Prakriti, Apara Prakriti, Para Prakriti. Apara Prakriti means it is of a lower kind. It is changing all the time. So all our experiences together is called as Apara. Or Anatma is called as Apara. Atma is called as Para. So the definition of Brahman is, it is Aksharam, it is eternal, all pervading. In the 6th verse of this first section, you get this central, like I told you, the 19th verse of the Kaivalya Upanishad. 6th verse of the first chapter gives you the definition of Brahman, definition of Atma. It is not grasped by the organs of action, not grasped by the organs of perception. It is free from caste, creed. It is a material cause for all the beings. This is the description of Brahman. Verse number 6. Then 7, 8, 9 of the first section, it gives the example of the spider and the web, the trees and the earth, so when the Upanishad gives the example of spider and web, it is mainly to say that the material cause and the instrumental cause, the intelligent cause, all of them are there in the spider. Like, for example, I create the dream world. I am the intelligent cause. I am the material cause of the dream world. Similarly, Brahman is the intelligent cause. Brahman is the um, uh, intelligent cause and material cause for this waking world. This is the way I have to know this pure Brahman. Okay. So, what is the way in which it describes this entire universe? It says this universe has come from Brahman, which is the intelligent cause and the material cause of this cosmos. See the methodology which is followed in each Upanishad. Slowly you can understand the difference between Kaivalya and this. Here, is the emphasis is more on cause and effect, Karanam and Karya. Then in the second section, it talks about the rituals, how to purify our mind, what are the rituals we should conduct, what are the meditations we should follow, what are the different paths for a upasaka. See, a meditator, after he leaves this body, he has a different way of leaving the body compared to people like us who don't meditate. We are we are basically have a different path. So there are two paths which are given. Details are mentioned in those mantras in the second section. What are the qualifications required for this? Study of Paravidya is also mentioned. Then the second chapter, consisting of 21 verses, has got two sections. In the first section, complete details of the Paravidya, the example of the sparks, which I told you, is given. And what are the details of creation is given from verse 3 to 9. Then the nature of Brahman and the method of knowledge, how to get this knowledge of Brahman. It gives a beautiful example of Omkara Upasana, where it says the target is Brahman. See, suppose you are doing Upasana in your own mind and you say Om. When you chant Om, the target is what? Brahman. The chanting of Om sound is what? It is the means. And who is using the means? What is it is the mind which is that throwing that arrow. Arrow requires bow to be one with the target. That means I am the seeker. I chant Om. That Om is nothing but it is an arrow which I am throwing at the target, which is Brahman. So when I chant Om, I should say I am releasing this arrow. Now where it falls, I don't know. Wherever it falls, that is what is called as Brahman. And where will it fall? It will fall in Atma only. Because that is the essence, that is the substratum of the whole universe. When I do this Upasana, my ignorance about my nature goes away. Because I understand my nature is pure consciousness. And all the Sanchita karmas, when I do this Omkara meditation, they are all destroyed. This is a proof that Sanchita can be burnt. Agami will never rise because every time I do an action, then it is not me who is doing action, body is doing action. Okay? This was the second chapter. Third chapter, which consists of 21 verses, there are totally 3 chapters. The third chapter is the details about moksha and bandha. What is, see, as a seeker, I should know that there is some problem with me. Then only I will start doing the seeking. But the beautiful thing about all the Upanishads is, when you have finished the seeking, the Upanishad gives you a totally different picture about yourself, which you will see, as we go on, we will see. So here, in the verse 1 to 4 of the third chapter of Mundaka Upanishad, it talks about what is bondage, what is liberation. That is why they introduced the 2 birds. The Sakshi bird, if you know, then you are already liberated. To know that you are bound, you have to see the Jiva bird. Jiva bird is eating. It is eating sorrows. It is eating the fruits of its karma phalam in this universe. All of us are basically doing action. And the result of any action is either joy or sorrow. So we are lost in this punya papa karma phalam cycle. How to come out of this cycle? By doing more karma, you will not get out of the cycle. You will be perpetuating samsara. The only way to come out is sakshi. Know that you are sakshi. That is why it is called as jnana yoga. In jnana yoga, it is pure knowledge which will liberate you. What is the knowledge I should get? I am the Atma which is ever free. Before study of the Upanishad, after the study of Upanishad, the Atma was always free. So Jivatma, the Ahamkara, recognizes this Sakshi bird inside its own body, inside this body. Like in the case of Kaivalya Upanishad, the waker, dreamer, and sleeper are inside the body only, Ahamkara. Similarly, here it is the Ahamkara which is the Jiva bird. There in Kaivalya, it discovered its nature is not Ahamkara, Mamakara. It is not Raga Dvesha. It is Sakshi. There it was Turiyam. Here it is called as Sakshi. So this section regarding the two birds, very, very beautiful section. Mundaka Upanishad is primarily known for this section. And what are the values I should develop? See, many a time when we go through the Upanishad, we may not understand the full significance of this Atma Tattva. Why does it happen? Because my mind is very clogged up. It is not pure. It is got so many things inside. But I have to slowly learn how to remove all the rubbish in my mind. How do I do it? By following certain values, which is truthfulness, austerity, like fasting and so on, discipline, mental discipline, sense organ discipline. After I have developed this, then I should do self-inquiry. And when I do the self-inquiry, the Upanishad gives the mantras. 7, 8, and 9, it describes the nature of Brahman. It is not big. It is not small. It is not far away. It is not near. This Atma, the description of Atma is this. It is not within the scope of mind, the sense organs, or the speech. It is me, myself. I have to only claim it as my Swarupam. It is not an object. It is a subject. Once I know this, I will glorify the Lord. I'll glorify the Shastra. I'll say the Shastra is beautiful because I have known who I am. I have no doubt at all. In the second section, a little bit more details of the virtues of memorizing, of repetition, of japa, all that is mentioned in the second section, in verses 1, 2, and 4. In verses 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, the nature of liberation. Suppose I get this knowledge, what will be my lifestyle? First of all, the Upanishad says you will be free from desires. You will be detached. You'll be fulfilled in life. See, I not having desires, will I be like very tamasic? No, 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 don't be like that. You will be sattvic in nature. You will be fulfilled in life. Jivan Mukta means you are free while living. When the body falls, you will have Videha Mukti, which is you will never have another birth again. Like the rivers, they merge into ocean. Similarly, you have crossed this entire Karana Shariram, which means you're free from Punyam and Papam, and you have merged with the reality in this universe, which is called as Brahman. So the one who has got this knowledge, he is the one who is disciplined in life, and he will go through the prarabdha karma of the body, but he will be called as Jivan Mukta. So that is Mundaka Upanishad. So what I will do is I will stop here and I will take the Keno Upanishad. Okay, let me finish Keno Upanishad. One more Upanishad. It's just one slide. Keno Upanishad consists of 34 verses. The last there are 4 chapters. First chapter deals with the introduction of the Upanishad. The Upanishad is from Sama Veda. It can be sung. Keno Upanishad can be sung like a song. So here the question of the disciple is, who is the Deva? Who is the Devata which controls, which lends life to this body? Which is that light which is lending the light? Because we see that the body is inert by itself. There must be some life principle. The answer to the question given out by the Upanishad is, it is Chaitanyam. It is Deha Vilakshana Vastu. The question is, what is behind the mind? What is behind the prana? What is behind the speech? Eyes, ears. Consciousness is behind all of them. Consciousness is not a part of the body. It is not a property of the body. It is an independent entity. It exists by itself. This consciousness survives death of the body. It is self-evident. It is self-evident. Remember the verse from Mundaka Upanishad, Natatra Suryo Bhati. That verse you should remember. The most important verse in this Upanishad is Pratibodha Viditam Matam. Before starting anything, any activity, this consciousness, knowledge principle is there. So when you wake up in the morning, you see your body. But before you see the body, consciousness is behind. When you go to sleep, in sleep, consciousness is behind. In waking, consciousness is behind. So if I know the consciousness as my Swarupam, I am free. I am free from the body here and now. Now, this consciousness can be known by Omkara Upasana. Again, Omkara Upasana comes in the second chapter of this Upanishad. The third chapter, consisting of 12 verses, is mainly to show that this consciousness is beyond manifest and unmanifest nature of the world. There is a story where all the devatas, they try to understand this consciousness principle, which is in a yaksha form. The yaksha manifests and unmanifests. So by knowing that yaksha, which is consciousness, the devatas come to know the nature of consciousness. There are 4 upasanas, meditations, which are prescribed in Keno Upanishad. The first one is lightning. You meditate on lightning. You meditate on winking process. You meditate on the thoughts which you experience, and you will realize the substratum, the light behind these 3 activities. The moment you do this meditation, it will purify your mind. You will have sense organs control and mind control. Sense organs control is called as Dhammaha. Mind control is called as Samaha. Tapaha means I can do austerities. I can drop things, I can take things. I can take on satsanga as one of the means for knowing this truth. So Keno Upanishad, in short, tells me that my body is not active by itself. there is a power called as Brahman, which is behind the body. So, Atma definition, Atma is beyond the three sharirams. Keno Upanishad is one of the things. Atma is beyond the three avasthas, which is Kaivalya Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad. Atma is beyond the Panchakoshas, is going to be in Taittiriya Upanishad, which we will discuss next week. With this, I close today's session. And next week, we will do Taittiriya Upanishad, and we will also do the Taittiriya Upanishad and Kaṭha Upanishad. We already finished, so I may not take Kaṭha Upanishad, but next week I will do Taittiriya Upanishad. Oh. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamathaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay. I don't have any questions on the chat box. So if you have anything to say, or you can unmute yourself and you can speak up. Or if you have a question, you can let me know.
I think this revision class we should take in daily basis or once in a while, or this revision that you are shown in the presentation.
Yes. So you like the revision?
Yeah. It's a wonderful revision, and in daily basis, if you complete one by one, I think we can again and meditation and mananam.
Oh, you're saying that you want this. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, you can do it yourself. Once you have learned how to do this type of revision, I mean, this is the way I feel that one can stay and remember how to be with our own self. Because we learn so many things, but then ultimately we should realize what is it which we have to hold on.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's good. Anyway, thank you, JP. I feel that you have enjoyed it. Shanta saying it'll be good if we can go through Kaṭha Upanishad again. Okay, I will see next week. Okay, next week we are going to do Taittiriya Upanishad first. Then we will do Kaṭha again. Shanta wants to listen one more time. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, I have a question. After doing, okay, these two are pending, which I'll finish next week. Do you want also to know a little bit similar summary for the Upanishads which we have not done? Aitreya Upanishad, Isha Upanishad, Prasthana Upanishad, Chāndogya Upanishad, Vedantic Upanishad. Do you want it? But that will extend this entire discussions. Or I can just cover one, two Upanishads, which we can do. So if you like, I can do just a summary. I have it ready in my slides.
Yes, Shagarji, we will start with again the summary of all Upanishad, and subsequently we'll start with the Prasthana Upanishad. That I prefer.
Okay. Then if you like it, then I will just, because you see, once you get the gist of the other Upanishads also, you will then know what to look for when we take up Prasthana Upanishad. See, the idea behind Yeah, see, the idea behind this summary is normally you get this when you do Brahma Sutra, the first 4 sutras of the Brahma Sutras. When you do that, you get a summary of all these Upanishads in the Brahma Sutra 1, 2, 3, 4. But I have found that this type of summary for the seekers, it helps a lot because I have immensely benefited by these summaries because it helps one to conceptualize and it also helps in manana. And you focus on the important aspects when you are learning the Upanishads.
One question I have, since you have studied these Upanishads, all the Upanishads you covered, and now you have become the guru of the teachers or teacher for the study student like us. Now, which is the best Upanishad you prefer or you advise us?
Mandukya. There is no doubt.
Mandukya.
Absolutely. There is absolutely no doubt. Take Mundaka Upanishad with Shankara Bhashyam. Right from verse 1 to 215 verses, Karikas of Mundaka Upanishad, there is nothing comparative to Mandukya. It is a direct study for all seekers. There is no way you will miss your Swarupa. Today I taught Shanti of Atma and Shanti of Manaha. This has been taught in Mundaka Upanishad in the 92nd verse of chapter 4. In the end of Mundaka Upanishad, Shankaracharya gives a beautiful commentary of how to realize this Atma within yourself. See, and he says, he describes this Atma Shanti as something which is permanent and Manas Shanti as something which is temporary. Don't go for Manas Shanti, but go for Atma Shanti, which is the primary benefit in studying Upanishads. In your own mind, it is extremely difficult to differentiate between Atma and mind. The most difficult thing in the entire spiritual study, in the entire spiritual journey, is the differentiation mind and Atma. In your own way, when you close your eyes, you should know I am the Atma. Whatever thoughts are coming is anatma, it is mind. Atma is my swarupa. I sit on it, I am residing in it. That is my final ground. That is what I am. Anything which I add to that is anatma. So a thought will come in your mind, anatma. Deal with it, anatma. This difference between Manashanti, he says Manashanti is good for the junior seekers. But you are a senior seeker, you have understood, you are getting the knowledge of the scriptures, which is talking about Atma, and you should reside in your own self and say, I am that Atma, which is revealed by the Upanishad. That's all. Once you have done it in your own mind, there is nothing in the world which can change this understanding about yourself. So you asked me a question about which Upanishad. I would still say Mandukya, but don't study Mandukya only the 12 mantras. You must complete Mandukya study.
Divide for me.
Verse number 1. So, understanding this Mandukya Upanishad is the final. For whoever is in this session today, at any time in your life, if you can complete the study of Mandukya Upanishad, that should be your fulfillment in spiritual journey.
The crux of the problem is differentiating the Atma and Ahankara. That's the main problem.
Correct. Same. Ahankara is nothing but the mind. Ahankara is nothing but the mind. Ahankara. See, what are the ways in which I can try to differentiate? Use the Mandukya Upanishad. What does it say in the seventh mantra Mandukya? It says,
And the
I
Prasthana.
am not the waker, which is Ahankara. I am not the dreamer, which is Ahankara. I am not the sleeper, which is Ahankara. So slowly I'm trying to understand Ahankara. But who am I? I am the substratum. Ahankara is mithya. Mithya cannot exist without Satyam. Mithya dream world cannot exist without the Satya Vaker. Mithya Vaker cannot exist without Satya Brahman, without Satya Atma, without Satya Turiya. If you understand step by step like this, how Shankaracharya explains to us, you will definitely understand what is Atma, what is Atma. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, JP. Okay, I think there's a lot of people who are interested in the summary. Balakrishna, Manikanda, Bharat, Kritika, so many people are looking for summaries. Okay, so we will do. Okay, the next question is, do you have Brahma Sutra with Shankara Bhashyam? My God. You see, the thing is, even to do one Upanishad with Shankara Bhashyam is so difficult. It's so time consuming, and uh, taking the notes, preparing the notes, typing the notes, preparing the summary, preparing the chantings. It takes so much time. So, okay, direct answer, Bharat, to you is yes. Do you have Brahma Sutra with Shankara Bhashyam? I have a book, but I don't have it in the form of notes. I'm writing the notes for Brahma Sutra. It will take 5 years to complete, minimum 5 years. Okay, it's once a week I learn Brahma Sutra, and then I formulate the notes. But I hope one day I am able to take Brahma Sutra for this group. I will. I hope. Let's see how it goes. Nothing is in
Like
our
simple
hands.
summary, like summary of Brahma Sutra, like today class.
That I have done before. It's about 7, 8 years ago. I had done for one group. I can do it for this group also. I can do it again. That summary can happen in 1 or 2 sessions.
Okay.
I will do that if you like. I can I can present what is Brahma Sutra. Okay. Now, somebody had raised your hand. Shanta, you wanted to say something?
Yes, Shikhaji, I was just going to say that we do want all the summaries, and I think the more we learn, the more greedy or hungry we are getting. I can see that.
Yeah.
And so, so now we want also the Brahma Sutra ones. So I
That's
think
it. After that, there'll be nothing. That's all. After Brahma Sutra, you will say goodbye, Mr. Shekhar, and I have nothing else to ask you. That's all.
hopefully we will reach there at some
Yeah.
point. Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. So my program is quite set. I won't announce the Prashna Upanishad till I finish the. I might take another two next session and then one more session. If I want to cover the other Upanishads, I will take 1 or 2 more sessions before I take up the Prashna Upanishad Bhashya. I will start Prashna Upanishad after I finish. I think you will all like the Upanishad summaries because it tells you exactly what we are supposed to realize. See, this self-realization is a very subtle process, and it's a very internal process. And uh, the more clarity you get on this Atma, the more you feel overjoyed. Because I don't know why it is, but it gives you a thrill inside when you understand this Atma more clearly. and more clearly. As you go deeper and deeper into the study, you are able to go deeper into within yourself. Yeah, Bharat, you wanted to say something, anything?
Shakaji, it was actually a bit of a small joke. I know I've been studying Brahma Sutra on my own. It's incredible, and you're absolutely right. You know, writing notes on Brahma Sutra, like I think that's a lifetime's work. But I think the work what you're doing with the summary is extremely helpful. And I can only speak for myself, but even after I finish studying Brahma Sutras, I think I will still be at your class listening to you. I like to hear about Vedanta.
Good, thank you. It's the study is very beautiful. This entire study of the Upanishad itself is beautiful, and it takes a whole lifetime to do the study of Upanishad itself. You know, but the commentary of Shankaracharya Brahma Sutra is extremely interesting. But it takes time. The problem is Shankaracharya's bhashyams, they are sometimes they are with some commentaries which he has written is with reference to his environment at his time. That you will see in Prasthana Upanishad. When I do the Prasthana Upanishad, you will see the difference. And but studying the commentary with the Upanishad with the commentary is the ultimate. If you have a chance, go ahead and do with the commentary all the Upanishads, and you will really enjoy.
Shakaji, I just wanted to make one small point. I do like to study modern philosophers. By modern, I mean anything from the ancient Greeks onwards. And at the moment, I'm studying German idealism, so that's the philosophies of Kant and this other guy called Fichte. And it's remarkable that if you read those philosophies, they were heavily influenced by Vedanta. In fact, there was a version of the Upanishads which was translated and eventually translated into Latin around that time. And if you read the word of, say, Fichte, his view on I and the not I, it makes complete sense, except it doesn't apply to itself. You can't apply that philosophy to itself. Whereas in Upanishads, it just works beautifully. This the whole aspect of Atma and Brahman and the four Mahavakyas, the Upanishads explain German idealism, but German idealism can't really explain anything close to Upanishads. So it makes my understanding of German idealism much easier. So, and
Yes.
a lot of those ideas, actually, the understanding of that came from the Brahma Sutras, especially when Shankara is refuting Sankhya school. A lot of Sankhya school ideas still exist today in modern science and in philosophy. I was just making that point. So I think Shankara's Bhashyam is very relevant. It's timeless, but I can understand your point. He was really catering for people of that era.
Yeah. The difference, Shankaracharya in the Brahma Sutra Bhashyam, in the introductory Bhashyam or Adhyasa Bhashyam, Shankaracharya makes it very clear. He says all other philosophers, Western philosophers, Jainism, Buddhism, all of them, they study anatma. They do not study Atma. They all study anatma and make conclusions based on anatma. Therefore, all their conclusions is adhyasa. Whereas Upanishad is dealing with Atma, it reveals Atma, it helps you to claim Atma as yourself, and all other philosophers, in any century, whether it's Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, belonging to Shankara's time, or today Kant, you have so many modern philosophers who also are studying, who are also making conclusions about this world. Shankara's view is they are all dealing with anatma and making conclusions. They will never get to the reality because their field of understanding is anatma. And they have not gone into the field of adhyasa. They do not understand adhyasa. They do not understand paramarthika satyam. Therefore, they will never be able to either they can never come and criticize Advaita Vedanta. That's what he says in the Brahma Sutra introductory portion. Anyway, thank you, Bharat. Your comments on the other philosophers is correct, but only thing is, once you study Shankara Bhashyam, you will understand all other philosophies extremely well. You will understand where they are falling short, what are the deficiencies, and where does Advaita Vedanta, they score a point over there. You will have that clarity, which is what you have got now. I'm very glad you have studied, you're able to contrast and come to this type of conclusions. Good. It helps you. Okay. If there are no other questions, we'll stop here and we'll continue next week. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste, Shekharji.
Namaste, Shekharji. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.